All right, Jocelyn.
Yep.
We made it. It is finally time to talk about the actual expansion itself, Ashes of Outland.
Oh my God.
It is launching April 7th, by the way. So it is
so soon.
Just 3 weeks away.
This is when my quarantine ends.
Yes. The card reveal season is going to be fast and furious. We're going to know too many cards too quickly to cover them on the show. But yeah, there's just a lot. We're going to Outland. Makes sense since the Demon Hunter is getting added. That's when we chase down Illidan back in the Burning Crusade in World of Warcraft. Before we get into the cards, let's get it out of our system. Jocelyn, I am having a lore-gasm over this expansion, the cards, the art, the characters that are involved. And granted, I like Hearthstone's original characters. I like the League of Explorers. I like the League of Evil. But after an entire year of hanging out with them, I am really legitimately excited to just have like a Warcraft-ass Hearthstone expansion.
Yeah, I am completely on board with you there. And I think that my favorite expansions in Hearthstone tend to pull very heavily from Warcraft, but then have their own spin on it. Like Mean Streets of Gadgetzan, I think is a really good example where it's like there were lots of iconic characters, but then they brought in their own kind of stuff. Same idea with like Frozen Throne is another one that I really enjoyed, where like that just like straight up ripped like Lich King things from Warcraft, but then the Hearthstone spin was like, well, what if all of our heroes became Death Knights? Like, what does that universe look like? So I like that they're doing that, and they're kind of doing that in Ashes of Outland because we're not just going to Outland, but we're also coming up against a new enemy that is Hearthstone specific. So it's kind of like Iron Horde from like Warlords of Draenor, but they're basically this faction that is taking existing things that we're familiar with from Warcraft and Hearthstone and then like mechanizing them, giving them chainsaws for hands.
Yeah. I'm really into it. So let's just get into it because there's like a new legendary theme for minions in this expansion, which are prime legendary minions. They're described as powerful minions who shuffle a vastly upgraded version of themselves back into your deck when they are taken off board. So they all have death rattles that put a much more powerful version of themselves into your deck when they die. And every class except Demon Hunter is going to get a unique prime. And we've seen 3 of them in the reveal today. I've seen all of them, but I don't really remember all of them. Sorry, just wanted to be a jerk there for a minute. But we're going to start by talking about Kargath Bladefist, a 4-mana 4/4 legendary warrior minion with Rush and a death rattle that reads, shuffle Kargath Prime into your deck. You're going to notice a pattern here as we go through these cards. And that's all fine. 4/4 with Rush. Okay, whatever. What does Kargath Prime do? Well, what does Kargath Prime do? Kargath Prime is an 8-mana 10/10 with Rush that reads, whenever this attacks and kills a minion, gain 10 armor.
Dude.
Yeah. I'm going to dude right back at you.
Every time. And it has Rush, so it's going to get to attack and kill at least one thing.
Mm-hmm.
Possibly even stick around.
Yes.
Ridiculous.
It's a 10/10 for 8 with Rush.
Yeah.
It's gonna attack something. You're gonna get that 10 armor. It's probably still gonna be alive at the end. There's a chance.
There is a chance.
Even if there isn't, you have 10 damage removal that gives you 10 armor for 8 mana. Like, okay, sure. I'm here for this.
Yep.
And leaves a threat on board, whatever the case is. So yes, this is good and a fantastic example of prime minions. They are nutty. Are you ready to practice pronouncing a name?
Okay, so this one, how
do you think you say this? How do you think you say this?
Mushy Fin?
No, Jocelyn, no. It's Arch Spore Mashiffin.
No. This is the new Undertaker, is what this is.
Mashiffin.
He's gonna be Mushy Fin for the whole time. That's my new name for him.
Mashiffin. You gotta say it.
Mushy Fin.
No, just give yourself over to the Mashifin side. It's so much more fun over here, Jocelyn.
Yeah. All right.
You can't say it and not smile. Okay. You can't say it and not smile. Oh my God. So anyway, Archspore Mashifin is a 3-mana, 3/4 legendary druid minion with taunt and death rattle. Shuffle Mashifin Prime into your deck. And you may be asking yourself, well, what is Mashifin Prime? It's a 10-mana 9/9 with taunt and a choose one. You choose one, summon a 9/9 Fungal Giant with taunt, so you get 2 9/9s with taunt for 10 mana, or Rush. So you could also make Mashifin Prime a 9/9 with Rush as your choose one.
Okay, so wait. Okay, so the first choose one option, do you get 2 9/9s regardless?
Didn't think of it like that, but it kind of sucks the other way, doesn't it?
Well, yeah, because if the options are get 2 9/9s or 1 9/9 with Rush, I'm gonna go 2 9/9s every time.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay, you get 2 9/9s every time.
All right, no matter what. Okay, that makes more sense. I was like, I don't think that's how it works.
It makes so much more sense. This is a poorly formatted card.
So yeah, this is kind of gross. Like 2 9/9s with taunt, or no, sorry, 2 9/9s with taunt, or 1 9/9 with taunt and 1 9/9 with Rush.
Yep, way better.
Wow,
way freaking better. Way freaking better. Yes, prime cards, ladies and gentlemen.
Prime cards are insane.
Yes. And now one that isn't nearly as fun to say, but a character I love nonetheless. Lady Vaj is the prime minion for Shaman, a 3-mana 4/3 legendary Shaman minion with spell damage +1 and death rattle. Shuffle Vaj Prime into your deck. Vaj Prime is a 7-mana 5/4 with spell damage +1 and a battle cry that reads, draw 3 spells, reduce their cost by 3. Targeted draw and a massive mana discount.
Yeah, so you're getting 9 mana off of your spells, assuming that they aren't 2 or less cost, right? Because you can never have negative mana spells. So I think this could find its way into a spell shaman deck, which I'm kind of stoked for. It's been a while since shaman was doing really spell heavy things. They've been so minion heavy, especially with their Galakron summoning more little elemental dudes, that like I'm ready to get back to a spell slinging shaman. Yeah,
same. Also, like 3-mana 4/3 just by itself, spell damage +1s, whatever. But like shaman finds reasons for spell damage. I like that too. I like that these vanilla versions are a little interesting. Kargath has Rush, Archspore has Taunt, and is also passes the vanilla test with flying colors, having a 3/4 worth of stats for 3. Lady Vaj, same thing. I like these. Like even their base forms are just good cards.
Agreed.
So Prime Minions, super cool, and coming to us in 3 weeks when freaking Ashes of Outland release. All right, let's move on to another new theme in Ashes of Outland, which is Dormant Minions. Also, like it's a new keyword, Dormant. So
yeah, and you find the Dormant keyword, and it works like other cards that I think we've seen Dormant on before, but maybe it wasn't bolded. Like I'm thinking of that plant that, like, when it died, it'd go to sleep, and you had to do the thing to make it come back again. I'm totally blanking on what it was. Exactly was it Sherazin? Maybe. A chat room will tell me anyways, but these cards also all have imprisoned in their name. So very much like our evasive dragons, same idea. Yeah, if you see an imprisoned minion, then they have this dormant keyword.
Yeah.
Corpse Flower.
It was Sherazin Corpse Flower. It did say dormant. It was not capitalized. It was not bolded.
Right. So now they've made that idea into a keyword.
Yeah. And so the way this was, and Sherazin doesn't work like this, because Sherazin was like play 4 cards to revive him. All minions with bold dormant from this expansion work the same way. They are dormant for 2 turns. So you play them, they go dormant, they can't do anything. they can't be interacted with. Like you can't do damage to it. You can't polymorph them. You can't remove them from the game. They just sit there, take up a board slot, and can't be interacted with in any way for 2 turns once you've played them. And also they are all demons. These are all imprisoned demons is like the flavor here. And so we've seen 2 of them in the reveal today. It was Imprisoned Satyr, which is a 3 mana, 3/3 common druid demon, which is obviously dormant for 2 turns. I don't know why they would it for 2 turns if dormant had bolded and
if
whatever.
Dormant means 2 turns, yeah.
Getting over myself so that the show can go on. When this awakens, reduce the cost of a random minion in your hand by 5. And this is how all these dormant minions work. Once they awaken, they do something cool. Imprisoned Observer is the other one we saw. It's a 3 mana, 4/5 rare mage demon that's dormant for 2 turns. When this awakens, deal 2 damage to all enemy minions.
Yeah, and chat room's kind of bringing up the thing that I was thinking is that maybe they're adding the 4/2 turns to kind of leave it open if they want to use the keyword in a different way, and maybe later on in this year, like we really don't know. But maybe dormant means like uninteractable.
That's fair.
And then
it entered my mind because they made it very clear that all imprisoned demons were dormant for 2 turns. But that's a good point. That doesn't mean that
so then because there was another chat room's also mentioning the 4/8 druid thing that you had to heal in order to reactivate it. That also was a dormant minion, and they just kind of like they're on the board, but they're just like a circle. Like you can't do anything. They don't have their like attack and health values or anything else. They just kind of are in this like silver encased thing.
Yeah. Right. So
yeah.
Anyways, my experience with these minions were they were bad. Like,
which is so sad because I mean, I understand like if I play, yes, it's a 3 mana 4/5, right? Let's talk about the mage one, the Imprisoned Observer. It's a 3 mana 4/5. So you're like, whoa, 3 mana 4/5, that's so good. But you're basically doing nothing on turn 3, right?
Yes.
So you play this, nothing happens. You just sit there and you continue on with the rest of your turn. So then the effects that they have need to be powerful enough that skipping your turn is okay. And in the past, we've only seen these like skip your turn, do nothing effects like once or twice to the point that I can't even remember the successful ones. I'm sure chat room will, but just the idea that you have to just do nothing and then something happens later on down the line, which this isn't even next turn you do something. This is 2 turns away before the thing is going to happen. Which means that, yes, you have the chance to strategize around it, but so does your opponent, which is kind of sketchy in terms of power level, right?
Yeah, it depends on the effect, right? If I remember, I think there was a dormant minion we saw that did seem good. I can't remember what it is off the top of my head, and it doesn't matter. It wasn't revealed today, so I wouldn't be at liberty to tell you. But right here, I think the 2 they showed is a really good example because I think Imprisoned Observer is bad. I think this is a bad card. You end up getting a 4/5 on turn 5 if you play this on curve because you have to wait for it, and then it deals 2 damage to all enemy minions when it awakens. Your opponent knows it's coming, can play around it. Also, it's turn 5, probably going to live. I don't like this card. But Imprisoned Satyr, I do like. When this awakens, reduce the cost of a random minion in your hand by 5. This is a druid card. This makes sense in druid. This feels druid. They're all about, they've historically wanted to cheat mana, cheat out bit larger minions. And yeah, this could land on a minion that you don't want it to land on, but you have a decent amount of control over what you deploy from your hand over the next 2 turns.
Yeah, very true. And again, that comes down to the strategy. And this is one that your opponent doesn't necessarily strategize around, but you as the player are strategizing around. So I think, it's an interesting concept anyways. We'll have to see what the rest of the cards look like before I actually, make a final kind of ruling on the whole idea of dormant. But I do also like the fact that I don't have to do anything. Like that was kind of the thing because Mage just recently had that if you play spells or play cards or something, then you can spawn things. And the whole idea with a lot of this stuff that is, we've seen in the past that's been dormant is they're interesting cards with powerful effects, but you had to do something to make it happen. So you had to heal, you had to play cards, you had to, whatever. but this just happens. So I think that that's something that makes it a little bit more powerful than other dormant effects we've seen before. But I just wonder if 2 turns is maybe just a little bit too long. Like, it would waking up next turn be better instead? Well, it would definitely be better, but, would it be broken?
Yeah. Like, I'd be a lot more interested in Imprisoned Observer for no other reason than get a 4/5 on 4 that does anything. It does something. So, I mean, I could just play a Yeti, but, 2 damage, they have to play around a little bit, but taking it out to turn 5, I'm just like, I don't really care if I'm doing 2 damage to the board on turn 5. They got 2 turns to think about it and prepare.
And make sure that they're not playing into it and everything else. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. But I do think that Satyr at least is interesting because, especially in Druid, you're often playing a lot of big stuff. So getting a discount on big stuff combined with, ramping, you might be getting really, really disgusting things like, say, I don't know, a 9/9 with taunt and also summoning another 9/9 with taunt or rush. Seems like a thing that on turn 5 would be a little bit OP.
Yeah, and you get the same as Shiffin. It's wonderful. It's absolutely wonderful.
You say Mushfin and you're happy about it.
Celestalon, please tweet at Joss Plays and let her know.
Make me say it.
Let her know. He was the one who taught me how to pronounce it correctly. So, yeah. All right. Before we move on to just kind of like really cool other cards that were previewed, we have to talk about the card that you can play with as we speak. Kael'thas Sunstrider, a card much requested by the 2 of us on this very podcast. When
over the years,
we've gotten the question that comes back around multiple times a year, which is, what is the character you think is sorely missing from Hearthstone? The answer from both of us, I feel like, has always been Kael'thas Sunstrider. I think
it was always something that needed to be considered, right? Like, he's so iconic in WoW lore, and he's kind of been more and less important. And I don't know, this is probably a bit of a WoW spoiler, but he's also, coming back in the next WoW expansion, which maybe that's why this is coming into being now. I don't know, but I'm so glad. I'm so glad he's back.
I mean, can you spoil saying a character is coming back in the next expansion of World of Warcraft when the next expansion is about going to the land of the dead and visiting with our dead friends and enemies?
That's why I was like, I don't know if this is really a spoiler. Like, anyone who cares probably already knows, and anyone who doesn't care doesn't care.
Spoiler, in the Matrix, they're in the Matrix.
Whoa.
At least for a portion of the Matrix. I guess they're not always in the Matrix. Anyways, the joke flopped. Kael'thas Sunstrider is out now. Free for everyone. All you got to do is log in. It's a 6-mana 4/7 legendary neutral minion. Every 3rd spell you cast each turn costs 0. Ooh, baby, get my verdant sphere on.
Yeah, so this was just auctioneer. Gross.
I mean, no.
So expensive. Like, I get it. Like, having both of these on board at the same time is probably not going to happen, but yeah.
Yeah.
This gives me total auctioneer vibes.
My first thought just goes, cool, Twin Spell is still here. It's going to be here a while. This card I think this is a good card. I love that Kael'thas is not a bad card, and we're all getting it. I'm like legitimately hyped about this. I like Kael'thas a lot. I think this is a really strong effect. Obviously not going to be good for every damn class, and there's only so much mana you have to play with to cast 2 spells in a turn. You're going to need a 3rd one sitting there, obviously. But, the mage implications, Jocelyn, the mage implications.
And rogue, too, I think.
Whatever. Rogue has been being able to cheat out spells their entire existence. I don't care. I'm so down on rogue right now. I'm like, you still got it when you jerks. Also, I like to point out, they still have lackeys. Everyone's like, they were really strong because of lackeys this year. I'm like, y'all, lackeys are here to stay for
that
one
is
more
also
year,
true.
at least. But whatever, doesn't matter. I'm not going to talk about Edwin anymore.
But yeah, mage can do some really crazy things, and I think that's super thematic too. Like, lore wise, Kael'thas being a mage and, interacting with spells and then being powerful, even though he's a neutral over in mage, very similar to the discussion we had earlier about Malygos. Malygos might be a neutral card, but one of the classes he's always excelled in has been mage, which he's the aspect of magic that makes a lot of sense. So I think like lore wise, I really like the flavor of this card. I'm interested to see if he actually, you know, sees a lot of play. He does have a fairly big booty, so there, you know, he could maybe even stick around a bit. I'm interested to see what people do with this card.
Yeah, Kael'thas has been doing squats. Not blood elves, not known for their behinds.
True.
No, they're known for their hair, which is a strategy I have adopted in my life, being a man with no ass. All the time on the hair.
It's ass or hair. You got to choose one.
Anyways, there were also some just phenomenal looking cards that were previewed coming in the Ashes of Outland card set. We're not going to talk about each and every one of them, but we are going to talk about a lot of them because they're just too cool not to talk about. Starting with the cards you're going to have to collect as a Demon Hunter, not the ones that are just going to be given to you when you unlock the class. Starting with Metamorphosis, a 5-mana legendary Demon Hunter spell, which reads, swap your hero power to deal 5 damage. After 2 uses, swap it back. Also make priests jealous because they can't do this anymore.
Yeah, and so this deal 5 damage is still 1 mana, right?
Yes.
And targeted.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah. I mean, you have to pay 5 mana for it, but it's 5 mana plus, so it's 7 mana.
So it's like 7 mana, 10 damage split into places over 2 turns.
Yes, and you can put that 10 damage wherever you would like it to be. Well, the 5 damage wherever you would like to be over the course of 2 turns. Unless you go over.
Interesting card design for sure.
Yeah, you could go over the wild, make yourself an Inspire deck, and get some hero power resets.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yep. This is good. I got to play with this. This is a really cool card. It feels really powerful. Demon Hunters can be extremely aggressive. I was surprised in my limited time with it. I was surprised that, honestly, to me, in my limited time, very, very small game played pool, token seemed to be like the most aggressive with tools like this. And I wasn't running this in a token list. Like, it was just nutty, kind of like the options available to them. But Jocelyn, would you like to reveal what I believe is the most busted ass card we are about to contend with in Hearthstone?
I was so happy, first of all, that they made this a card, that they made it part of the reveal video in that storage locker thing they did. The Skull of Gul'dan is so iconic in WoW lore, with Illidan and Demon Hunters. Like this, I'm actually, if I'm going to say anything, it's that I'm a little bit disappointed that this is tied to the Ashes of Outland expansion, because this, I feel like it's so iconic. It just should be in the Demon Hunter basic set. Like, it's busted. It's really good. But lore-wise, flavor-wise, this should be a always with us Demon Hunter card.
Yeah, and you know how we were just talking about Metamorphosis as like, well, you spend 7 mana, you get 10 damage over 2. Yeah, you could deploy this. You could deploy Metamorphosis for 2 mana. And why is that?
Wait, sorry, what?
I'm sorry, did you not read the card yet?
I did. No, I did read the card. I was distracted by chat room. So
okay. So never mind.
I wasn't expecting you to throw it back to me so fast. That was my bad. Yes. I'm getting tired. It's 2 hours in.
So yeah, Skull of Gul'dan can discount Metamorphosis if it draws it. Like it's just so good. It's so
and it's rare.
Good.
It's not legendary, which means twice you can draw 3 cards and reduce their cost by 3 during the course of the game.
One of those cards that you can draw can be your other Skull of Gul'dan, which now instead of costing 5 costs 2. And that happened to me in 2 games I played at the summit, and it was so insane. It felt so unfair.
Yeah. This card, and like I said, this is why I feel like it's good that this card is an expansion specific card, because it can get tweaked, it will rotate, blah, 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 blah. But I just wish that they had taken the Skull of Gul'dan moniker and assigned that to a basic card, because, yeah, it's super iconic. But this also, even just what the card does is super flavorful, because, like, Illidan like basically absorbs the skull and gets like all the like knowledge and memories and stuff, which so like it so makes so much sense with getting cards out of your deck. Like, I don't know. This just, I love it. I love it.
It's going to be Demon Hunter Stone, man. And it's like this card's fault, I think.
Yeah.
And I, for one, cannot wait for it. I'm also going to just throw the next card to you because I know you, as the resident Hunter lover, is going to be a little excited about this card.
Yeah, I mean, the only thing I'm really not excited about is the fact that Demon Hunter cards and Hunter cards look very, very, very similar. There's like a light green kind of like tattooy outline on the Demon Hunter cards, but it can be hard to tell them apart. So this is a straight up OG Hunter card, not a Demon Hunter card. It's Scavenger's Ingenuity, which is draw a beast and give it +3/+3. So
for 2
targeted
mana.
Draw in Hunter, for 2 mana is, I think this is really good. So it's like a built-in draw and buff. Like this is just a straight up good Hunter card.
Yeah, it's I love it. This is, hey Garrett, what do you like in card design? This, this right here. That's what I like. I wanted to talk about Ambush because Rogue Secrets are back, and Ambush is one of them. It's a 2 mana. Rare Rogue Secret that reads, after your opponent plays a minion, summon a 2/3 Ambusher with Poisonous. I like it.
Yeah, at first I was like, oh, this isn't great. And then I was like, wait a minute. This is really good because you have the initiative, assuming that I guess assuming they don't really play around it, but like they're going to play something out and then have to deal with the fact that you now have a 2/3 poisonous minion that will be available to attack on your next turn, meaning that you can essentially deal with anything that they do if they've, played a big minion. So this is really cool. I like this design. I think this is a good secret.
Yeah, Ambusher does not have stealth, in case anyone is curious. It's just a 2/3 with Poisonous as advertised. But still, I like this secret. I like the design of the secret for all the reasons you listed. I think it's got some legs, and you may not after you pop it. So, I'm sorry. All right, your choice. Do you want to get excited about one of the most iconic pieces of gear ever, or one of the most iconic villains ever? Your choice, Jocelyn.
Yeah. I mean, they even made a backpack out of this.
All right, you're choosing gear. You're choosing gear.
I think I'm choosing gear.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. The floor is yours.
Oh man. Okay, so this card is just insane. So it is a 3 mana 1/4 warrior weapon. I'm using air quotes if you are listening to the audio only, because it's the Bulwark of Azeroth. And so this is like, I know even if you guys don't play WoW, you've seen this. This is the gigantic shield with all of the crazy metal spikes coming out of it. I know you've seen this. The Blizzard Gear Store made a backpack out of this thing. So 1/4 weapon, 3 mana. You're probably like, Joss, that sounds lame. Why are you getting so excited about this? Why I'm getting so excited about this is because it has flavor text that reads, whenever your hero would take damage, this loses durability instead. What? This is like legit a shield. This is the best example of a shield we have in Hearthstone. I love this. It's not actually a weapon. It's totally a shield. They did it. I don't know how they came up with this, but this is amazing. It's so freaking cool. It's not armor. It's different. It's a shield.
Yeah. And we've had takes damage instead effects before, but like not this way, not this powerful, not this well themed.
Yeah, exactly. It's so flavorful. And that's why I called it flavor text. It's actually the text on the card. It's not the flavor text, but yeah, like it's so flavorful that I could not help myself.
Hey, Blizzard, could you please announce WoW Classic BC now, please? Because after this, like, I forgot how iconic Burning Crusade was. And
yeah,
when I was poring over the cards, when I got a chance to look at everything, I was just like, oh my God, it's that thing and that thing. And that the member berries, it's too much for me as a Warcraft nerd.
Yeah.
And it's legitimately refreshing after an entire Hearthstone year of mostly original characters. So back to Warcraft. Oh yeah, look, we're here. The freaking bulwark of Azeroth is here, and also the first Death Knight ever is here. Terran Gorefiend is coming to Hearthstone as a 3-mana 3/4 legendary neutral minion, meaning there's nothing stopping you from putting Gorefiend in your deck. Also, that 3/4 comes with the battle cry: destroy all friendly minions, death rattle, resummon them with +1/+1.
The flavor on this, I know I'm going to say that 100 times as we go through all of the card reveals for Ashes of Outland, but I just can't get enough of this because it's so flavorful and iconic. Like, it's so WoW lore people, if you guys don't play WoW, if you're not familiar, Terran Gorefiend was literally the first Death Knight. He was created by Gul'dan and his Shadow Council, and they basically took the souls and shoved them into the dead bodies of the Alliance captains. And oh my God, the flavor of all of this is so cool. And I can't, I'm having a loregasm all over this episode of Angry Chicken, guys. I'm sorry, but this is so great.
In case we're talking too fast, there is an L in front of that. Lore. Yes.
Yeah. But yeah, so I mean, even thematically, what he does, the idea of destroying and resummoning things more powerful than they were before is so first Warcraft lore stuff. Like, this is what the Death Knights did, is destroy their enemies and turn them to be more powerful and fight for themselves. It's so good. Now, this destroys all friendly minions, not all enemy minions, but still, the idea of destroying a whole bunch of stuff and bringing it back in a more powerful form is so Death Knight. I love it. It's badass. It's badass.
Yeah. I love this card. I love everything about it. It's amazing. And
I think there's a lot of really cool ways that you can do this too. There's, you can do death rattle things. You can do reborn things. There's all kinds of minions that killing them isn't bad,
I was about to ruin it for you. I can't wait to take this into Wild and cube it.
No, Garrett. But that is an interesting that's an interesting idea. So if you,
I would assume it would actually
cube it,
lose the minions.
It would just have 2 more 3/4s, right? Not 2 3/4s that would have all of
consumed.
Whatever it consumed. Yeah,
that's how it worked.
Okay.
Otherwise, it would be insane. But yeah. Also, Chatterham's talking about in Wild, Sylvanas, Gorefiend, then N'Zoth, and just get insane.
Ooh, dirty.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Oh, Grave Rune. That's a good ass question, Triago. I need to remind myself exactly what Grave Rune says. In Hearthstone, give a minion death rattle, summon 2 copies of this. Again, I would assume it wouldn't be its version with the consume.
Well, because it hasn't done the battle cry, right? Because that was the cube actually itself worked similarly, right?
Mm-hmm.
When you cubed cubes, it didn't hang on to what it had before because it didn't do the battle cry. So that instance of the minion doesn't have anything to resummon.
Yeah, copies the vanilla minion, essentially.
Yeah.
So never mind. I would assume that's how it works, unless they're doing some type of special thing here, but I do not believe they are. So anyway, still an amazing card that I'm very excited about. And I mean, hell, Baron, it would be a death rattle triggering twice. So there's Baron to be considered in Wild. So many cool actions.
Oh, there's stuff. There's so much cool stuff.
The fact that this is 3 mana, you will find combos with this card and you will have the mana to make them happen.
Yeah.
Very pleased with the design of this card.
Mm-hmm. I'm on board, man. I'm so on board.
I've got the Vapus. It's too much.